Today's three topics: Iran, Israel, and then we'll move a little closer to home and talk about crime and safety issues. We've been fighting in Iran for 2 weeks, and for the first time, we're beginning to see a shift in public opinion. And it's not the kind of shift that President Trump and the Republicans are hoping to see. Our latest numbers show that 39% of voters approve of the way the president is handling the situation in Iran. 60% disapprove. Now, those numbers sound bad on their own, but they're really dramatic when you compare them to the numbers from our Monday-Tuesday survey. The number who approve of the president has fallen 3 points. The number who approve of his handling of the situation in Iran has fallen 3 points. The number who disapprove has increased 10 points just in a couple of days. When we look to questions about the attack itself, was it a good thing to do? Well, 4 out of 10 voters are still saying, yes, we favor the attack. But on this side, we're also seeing rising opposition. The number of people who say that they oppose the attack has risen 5 points in just a couple of days. I think what's going on was hinted at in a survey from earlier in the week. People are beginning to recognize this is not going to be over quickly. It was easy to hold your opinion until you saw, well, if we get this over with in a few days and bring about regime change, yeah, that would be a good thing. People are now recognizing it's going to be longer and probably more costly. And so that's become an issue that is driving opposition. On top of that, another factor related to all of this, or another problem for the Republicans, interest in the issue is growing. 34% of voters are now telling us they're following news about the situation in Iran very closely. That's an extraordinarily high level of interest. And in fact, it's the highest we've measured in the last couple of weeks on this topic. Finally, this is the most polarized response to a military action in modern American history. A lot of people will attribute that to Donald Trump because they think he is the cause of all this polarization in our nation. That's just a mistaken perception that's, I think, become conventional wisdom. Donald Trump is not the cause of all the partisan polarization. It began decades ago before anybody had ever heard of our current president. It's been growing. Trump is the result of the polarization, not the cause of it. Now, the news about Iran has become more pessimistic. For Israel, there's good news. Perceptions of that nation have become more positive. 58% of voters now tell us that Israel is an ally of the United States. That's up 5 points since January. The number who see it as an enemy is down to 13%. And this kind of makes sense. We're obviously doing a joint action together. Obviously, we're allies in some sense of the word. There is a partisan divide. 70% of Republicans see Israel as an ally. Just 47% of Democrats share that view, but it's still a very solid plurality among Democrats. Now, a different measure, I think, really highlights the change in attitudes about Israel that we're seeing this week. In January, we asked one of our standard tracking questions, is this nation a force for good in the world or a force for evil? And in January, 29% said Israel was a force for good. 34% said it was a force for evil. Right now, the numbers are much, much more positive. 41% of voters say Israel is a force for good in the world. Just 21% say it's a force for evil. Look, I think this is a natural result of fighting a bad guy. Americans overwhelmingly see Iran as a force for evil. Working with the U.S. to attack Iran has benefited perceptions of Israel. It's worth noting, by the way, that those gains since January have come from Republicans, Democrats, and independents. There's still, though, a huge partisan divide. Republicans overwhelmingly see Israel as a force for good. Among Democrats, 21% say it's a force for good. 31% say it's a force for evil. So that partisan divide, very real. But again, both among Republicans and among Democrats, Israel's reputation has improved as a result of this joint effort against Iran. Now, closer to home, Republicans and conservatives are celebrating the fact that violent crime is down, murders are down. And let's be clear, we should celebrate those things, very positive outcomes. It is not translating into the political world at all. It is not a campaign issue that is, going to motivate voters in a big way. Yes, voters still trust Republicans more than Democrats on the crime issue, but they're not feeling a difference in their lives. Right now, 39% of voters tell us that they're aware of violent crime in their own community within the last year. 65% tell us, well, yeah, they're still safe walking alone at night. They feel okay going out in their neighborhood. Those numbers are baseline numbers. They haven't changed at all. When we ask specifically, are you feeling safer or less safe than you did a year ago? 29% say they're more safe. 34% say less. Now, part of this, has to do with the feeling of safety. Maybe comes from factors beyond just what we normally think of as the crime issue. Likely things, improve border security, probably makes people feel a little more safe. However, all the stories that have been publicized about illegal immigrants committing violent crime or murder probably add to some concern. The situation in Iran and other foreign policy matters makes people a little more nervous. What about terrorist attacks? But the bottom line is we're not seeing a big shift. This is not an issue that is going to be a driving factor in the campaign.